Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into the Colombo Stock Exchange, specifically that last week of August 2025, August 25th to the 29th. We've looked at the weekly reports, company news, economic bits and pieces, and basically we want to cut through the noise, find the interesting stuff, and give you the quick version of what's really moving the market.
In this particular week, it's quite a picture. You've got this pretty strong upward movement overall. But there are also some, let's say, complicated currents underneath that are, well, really important to get your head around.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. So first up, the indices, the All Share Price Index, the ASPI. It closed the week higher, right?
Yeah.
At 20,997.36. That's a gain of what, about 1.69%.
Yep, that's right. A decent climb for the week overall.
And here's the interesting bit. The S&P Sri Lanka 20 index, that's the big liquid stocks that actually went down slightly.
Just a marginal loss, but still, it went the other way.
So what's going on there? Does that mean the rally is maybe a bit lopsided?
Well, what it strongly suggests is that the main push upwards came from the small and mid-cap stocks, not your typical blue chips leading the charge. Now, that could mean the rally is getting broader, which is good,
Right.
but it also definitely signals, maybe a bit more appetite for risk among investors. They're looking beyond the usual suspects.
Right. Despite that split, though, the overall market value, the capitalization, kept climbing.
It did, yeah. Steadily grew through the week, ended up around R's 7.43 trillion by Friday. And that figure, year to date, it's up over 30%. That's a pretty robust increase. Shows real capital growth.
Okay, so value is up. What about activity? Was money flowing? Liquidity looked high. Turnover for the week was over 31.79 billion rupees. That seems pretty active.
Very active. And the key thing there is who was doing the buying and selling. Domestic investors were overwhelmingly the drivers. They accounted for, over 30 billion of that turnover in purchases.
So mainly local money moving the market. What about foreign investors?
Well, for most of the week, they were actually pulling money out, a net outflow. But then came Friday, August 29th. And suddenly, a complete flip, a net inflow from foreign investors, about 184 million.
Whoa, okay. A Friday turnaround. That is interesting. Any idea why? What happened on Friday?
It's hard to pin it down exactly, but it's really notable that this happened right when the central bank released some key updates. They put out their monetary policy report and also issued a commemorative currency note, believe it or not.
So you think those official announcements might have boosted foreign confidence enough to bring money back in?
It's certainly a strong possibility. That timing is very suggestive. Something definitely shifted their sentiment late in the week. It's one to watch for sure.
Okay, let's switch from investor types to specific stocks, because it sounds like there were some wild rides alongside the steadier stuff. You mentioned small caps driving the ASPI. Were there examples of that?
Oh, absolutely. You saw stocks like Colombo City having these huge daily jumps, like 24%, 25% on consecutive days, big rally.
Wow.
But then you had the other side. Look at SMB Leasing. It dropped 25% on Monday, only to rocket up by over 33% on Friday. Just massive swings.
That sounds more like speculation than investment.
Exactly. And that raises the point, these huge percentage moves, often in very low price shares, they definitely highlight speculative risk. They push the ASPI up, yeah, but it's a different kind of market movement compared to, say, a steady rise based on solid company results.
And there was that steadier side, too. You mentioned blue chips weren't leading, but were any sectors doing well consistently?
The banking sector looked pretty solid, generally trending upwards. And actually a big milestone. Commercial Bank of Ceylon became the first listed bank in Sri Lanka to cross $1 billion in market cap.
$1 billion? Wow. That must send a positive signal for the whole financial sector.
Absolutely. It's a confidence booster, definitely.
Okay, so we have diverging indices, domestic liquidity, a late foreign inflow, and a mix of stock stories. What about the bigger economic picture? Was that helping?
Yeah, there were some positive signs there, too, kind of reinforcing the market mood. For example, land values in the Colombo area were up significantly in the first half of the year. The land valuation indicator showed an 11.4% increase.
Residential land even higher, right?
That's right. Residential was up 14.4%. And rising land values, well, they often reflect general economic optimism and more capital around. It provides a supportive backdrop.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Yeah, electricity generation figures for May were also strong, up 7.7%. And that's often seen as a pretty direct indicator of underlying economic activity heating up. More power needed, means more things are happening.
Right, tangible signs of recovery. Okay, so pulling it all together then,
Yeah.
a dynamic week, growth driven mostly by domestic money and maybe improving economic fundamentals, but also clearly quite a bit of speculative energy mixed in, especially in the smaller stocks.
Precisely. And that Friday shift in foreign money, that inflow, however small it was in the grand scheme, is really the key thing to watch going forward. Could it be the start of a bigger return of foreign capital?
So, the provocative thought for you, the listener, is this. We've seen a rally largely powered by local investors and smaller stocks, with maybe just the beginning of foreign money returning. How sustainable is that kind of growth long term? And looking ahead, what specific signs will you be tracking to see if this rally has legs or if the speculative side takes over? Something to think about.